Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. What's up, everybody?
Howdy.
Hello.
Good morning or afternoon.
Couple bits of things I want to remind people about. I have the Team Anabolic Bodybuilding website and community up and running now. There's some free content courses and stuff that are up in there, and I'm going to be posting daily and have weekly live Q&As, uncensored stuff that I can't talk about on YouTube. Also, if anybody missed the free webinar this week on how to get huge, you can go to my website, register for it, and it's there. You can watch the recording of it. What's up?
Not too much, man. I'm getting excited for the Olympia, dude. It's going to be super sick.
Yeah. Are you coming? I wasn't sure.
I am.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome, man. We've never met you before, so this will be the first time. Get to meet Amy and Kolton. It's going to be a crazy day.
It'll be super cool.
All the redheads.
All the redheads, yep. All the gingers.
Ginger.
Well, I'm from a family full of gingers. It's somehow missing
to you.
I don't know what the fuck happened to me. My dad's like 5'5" and got fire engine red hair, and then here I am, 6'2", blonde, look like a Viking. Although I don't have any blonde hair left, but it was blonde when I was younger.
It's all right.
Genetics be crazy.
Genetics be crazy. My mom and dad are both like 5'6", 5'5", 5'6".
The Hessian gene skipped a generation, I think, with you.
Yeah, I did. I need to get it done again, but it was like a decade ago I did the DNA testing, and I was like a hodgepodge of everything Northern European, Viking, Norwegian, German. I knew my family was German, Scottish, and a little bit Irish in there. Even though I have, my name is sort of Scots-Irish, I guess. My last name is Barnett, and it's a Scots-Irish last name. But yeah, so I'm mostly German at the end of the day. German and Scandinavian.
I'm almost entirely German.
And I'm guessing, Amy, with that name and your hair, you are Irish.
Or Scottish.
You know, surprisingly enough, I am more German than I am Irish. My last name is actually German. My grandmother's maiden name was Kaiser. My great-grandparents did not speak English at all. They were 100% German speaking only. But the Irish comes from my mom's side of the family, which is the Rannies, which I'm guessing at one point were like the O-Rannies, the O-Rannies. And they were a family of midgets. Like my grandparents, they're like you, Paul. My grandma and grandpa were like barely, I think my grandpa was maybe 5'5", like maybe. I mean, by the time they passed away, they were both well under 5 foot tall. But my mom's brothers are all well over 6 foot tall. She's tiny. She's 5'4". But they say that they bred tall people. From tiny people.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell I came from. That's where my name Big Paul came from. It has nothing to do with bodybuilding because I'm the third, and I was taller than my dad when I was in 6th grade, so everybody started calling me Big Paul. That's a funny story for you. It has nothing to do with bodybuilding. Zero. Although I think if you see me in person, people understand why they call me Big Paul.
Yeah, your Q&A, I told you this yesterday. That white shirt made you just look like a beast.
White's either flattering or not. I don't know. I guess if you're a bodybuilder, it's flattering. If you're a normal person, it's not. I usually have my black shirts on. They're slimming.
Yeah, white leaves very little to the imagination, which is why I believe it's the T-shirt of choice for the wet T-shirt contest. I could be wrong on that.
Where did you come up with that idea, Colin? You seem
Spring
like
break will never be the same.
I don't know. Just misspent youth watching Girls Gone Wild commercials late at night.
you seem like you're very educated on this topic.
I'm always on spring break in my soul.
There we go.
Spring break on your soul, in your soul. Colton, what you in a cave over there, man?
Yeah, man. It's I don't know. I need to figure out the lighting here. It's like I need to get really bright lights for myself to be lit up appropriately. It's kind of nuts.
Oh, there's
What's up, Dave?
BlueCollar Dave.
How are you?
Lean and mean.
What's up?
Good.
Actually,
Good.
lean and friendly, but lean nonetheless.
Dave's got contest prep face too. Him and Amy can pair up here.
I know.
Yeah. I missed the
I got that
jawline.
We
skeletal.
just can, like get together and split a lima bean or something.
I went from Skeletor face to fathead in like 3 weeks, man. It's even though I really didn't gain any weight, I'm only up like 4 or 5 pounds.
Wow.
It's crazy how that happens. It goes straight to my face too. Like if I have a large carbohydrate day, it's like my chin just enlarges. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I have an unfortunate fathead.
Yeah, I seem to just once I go into a deficit, all the water, that initial water drop is super noticeable in my face, right away. Get the Skeletor face going.
It was funny, man. I was feeling creaky. Like my joints just weren't feeling good. And I'm like, God damn it, man. There's no way like 3 weeks post show that my estrogens crash. So I went and got an estradiol test done just to see where I was at. And sure as shit, it was 10.
Wow.
I'm like, how the hell is it still crashed? I did basically everything wrong post show that you can possibly do. I didn't take any injections for 3 weeks. Nothing. Just dropped everything cold. I did leave the fat burners in. I guess maybe that saved me a little bit. I just started the injections back up this week. Basically everything I tell my clients not to do, I did, and then ate like shit in Mexico. And somehow I'm still only up a couple pounds. I think I've held up pretty well. Yeah, Josh says D-ball will get your estradiol. Maybe I need to eat my words about some D-ball and take it.
God damn
I
it.
used to love D-ball when I was younger. My issue with D-ball is it's just instant titties and acne for most people. If you want to grow boobs and you're a man, the best way to do it is take some D-ball. If you have any proclivity for gyno, it is just like instant gyno. There's some guys that respond really well to it. But I would say, I don't know what you see with your clients, but the majority of people I see run D-ball have problems with it.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had it in any protocol for any particular reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to stay away from it for the most part.
I'm trying to think. I have one guy, maybe two, that I had running it that would get really, really, really low estrogen and nothing would bring it up. And we'd put it in, and they seemed to respond really well to it. But I wonder why I had so much gyno from my 20s. It was all the D-ball. It's also fake weight, too. That's my other issue with D-ball, too. It's like guys are like, man, I put on 20 pounds in 6 weeks. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
you didn't put on
It's
20
the same
pounds of
thing.
muscle in 6 weeks.
Same thing with Anadrol too, which sucks because I did an Anadrol experiment last week, I suppose.
I love
and it's just
Anadrol.
like, dude, it's so amazing. Like there's nothing that beats the like rapid engorgement of your muscles. Like you just get fucking huge and it feels great. It feels so good in the gym. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And then, 12 hours later, you're like, oh, the pump's gone. Like this fucking sucks, I hate that shit.
Anadrol might be my go-to for the Olympia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Yeah, I got quite a bit stocked up here waiting for it. So
Hit some Anadrol before we get on the convention floor. Sharp Home Solutions has been my experience that newer PED users default to test and D-ball cycle. I always know a newbie, man, you don't know what you're talking about. D-ball is awesome. I'm like, yeah. And then you talk to any pro and they don't use it. I don't know of any pros that use it. Maybe there's some outliers out there. Rapid Engorgement sounds like a band name.
It's crazy. I actually used to play bass for Rapid Engorgement back in college. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Were you playing a lot of World of Warcraft then, Colin?
I was in no bands. I was getting no girls. You can rest assured.
College
Yeah.
was my prime time.
Yeah, I
gotta
gotta admit, Anadrol though is probably the one compound that gives me the most strength immediately. You know, I know some people say Tren. I don't really notice it as much of Tren as Anadrol by far. You know, really helps you push through some plateaus if you use it strategically, for sure.
Yeah. I've never benched 4 plates in my life before, and yesterday I took 200 milligrams of Anadrol, and 4 plates was like, oh, I can do 4 plates now. It was like, what the fuck just happened? It's crazy.
Yeah, the non-genomic response, the CNS effect that it has is insane.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought about attempting some Anadrol again. Like once in a while, I'll put it. It's what a Toddism here, but he used to say that Anadrol was dirty Anavar.
Yeah.
Which is,
I don't know. So that's the experiment I ran. Was I took 100 milligrams of Anavar for a week, 100 milligrams of Winstrol for a week, and then 200 milligrams of Anadrol for a week. And out of all 3 of those, I think Anavar gave me like the most ability to mind muscle connect in the gym, but by far Anadrol created like the most like physical, like the outward appearance change that I was looking for, like cap delts, like very notably full muscles, and produced a copious amount of strength within training sessions compared to either of those products. Winstrol did some stuff for me, but it wasn't really like as profound as Anavar. But then Anadrol is like even a step further than Anavar. It was just so much different.
yeah, I mean, nothing tops Anadrol as far as an oral goes. I think even Halo testing, I don't think can touch it.
Yeah. The only problem is obviously it's like hepatic. It just fucks you basically if you use it inappropriately.
Pretty sure, isn't it the only anabolic that has, in some studies, shown to be carcinogenic?
It's one of them, yeah. I think Anavar is itself too. I mean, I'm sure all anabolics in some way, shape, or form increase oxidative stress. So, in theory, they could be considered carcinogenic. But
indirectly,
yeah.
I've been having good success with one of my clients who hit a kind of like a food plateau, you know, in a grow scenario, and trying to get him to continue to stay on diet. We just can't push food any higher, so we actually plan to put in Anadrol and just go week by week and see if we can just push the weight up a little bit further. And so far, it's working actually really well. And I notice Anadrol makes me definitely feel a little, not euphoric, but just a sense of well-being for sure when I take it, you know?
Yeah, that's so true. You feel like you've had 2 coffees, but you don't have like the rapid sort of raciness you get from coffee. It's just that sort of like productive, like, let's fucking go. Like, let's get this day done, you know? And I love that shit.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
My one complaint with Anadrol, and I think this is just more as you get older, I get about a week into it, and the acid reflux is horrendous. And I can't, like, my appetite already sucks, and then it's just, my appetite just goes to shit.
Well, that's the other thing. You know, you got to balance out. Like, if you're trying to push through a plateau and food's the problem, you introduce Anadrol and your appetite goes down. You're fighting uphill. You know, so it doesn't really work too well. But yeah, I haven't had that problem. I've never actually had an oral shut down my appetite for any reason. You're
still young.
Yeah.
I didn't have problems with them when I was young either. A lot of shit has changed in my 40s and into my 50s. I need IFBB Pro in front of my name now. I feel like such a dick doing that. I don't mean to put down anybody that does it, but
you deserve
I don't
it
know.
when you have it.
Yeah, Paul.
I put it in my Instagram profile, IFBB Pro, but I don't know. I'm just Paul.
He makes people at the gym refer to him as IFBB Pro Paul Barnett. That's the only way he won't.
Sir.
Like you can say Paul, he won't even look at you until you address him properly.
Sir, they must start with Sir.
Sir IFBB Pro Paul.
Yeah. And they have to look at the ground, no eye contact.
No eye contact.
Yeah.
He's
I'm
changed.
still with Jackie, Paul. You got to get yourself a nice belt. I mean, I figured that'd be the one thing, whether you wear a belt or not, that'd be nice to have. Turning pro, you could just put it right behind you, or kind of something with your trophies. It's kind of cool memento.
I don't wear a belt. I did get the IFBB Pro patch for my Wolfpack. So
Yeah.
there's that.
There you go. There you go.
That's good enough, right? Everybody at my gym knows for 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 what it's worth, so it doesn't really matter to me. I don't know. I don't know. I have a complex where I have a hard time accepting praise sometimes.
Sure. Yeah, well, it's like working really hard for a fancy car and then you never drive it. You're not
I
really
drive my
showing.
car.
No, I know, but you know what I mean. Like you work so hard to get that title and to get that next level. It'd be nice to have a couple of mementos to
It
show.
reminds me of a anecdote I heard regarding Japan has the nicest toilets in the world and no Mexican food. It's like having a Ferrari and only driving it in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
Having a Ferrari, never taking it to the track.
Hey, Josh said I would love a video where Paul walks around with his belt over his shoulder, kicking people off machines.
How many you got left? How many sets you got left?
I was kicking people off machines before I had the IFBB Pro.
Actually, you know what, Paul? Just turn it around, kind of like a WWE belt, so it's facing forward, so everybody sees
there you go.
coming.
I scared a poor kid last night, and I wasn't even trying. I was doing cable pushdowns. This kid walks over and he goes, "How many sets you got left?" It was really, and I'm like, "I got quite a few, but you can work in, man." He's like, "I was like, do you want to work in?" And he's like, no, I'll just come back later." And I'm like, "You sure, man? You sure you can work in?"
It was on the cables too. He could very easily have changed the weight. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I scared him.
I think
I mean, that would be me. Like, I don't if people want to talk to me at the gym or work in with me, I'm like, I'll just move. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
So I get it.
It's funny. Jackie scares more people than myself, to be honest. Everyone always says that she looks so intimidating at the gym, but everybody comes up and talks to me and shares my equipment for some reason.
That's awesome.
You just look like a nice guy, Dave.
Dave, you have big dad energy, dude.
Big Dad.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I hung out with you. You're younger than me, and I met you, and I was like, I look up to this man.
That's funny because our nickname at our gym is Gym Dad and Gym Mom.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely have big dad energy.
Yeah, it was hilarious when we were at the Arnold. Like, none of us knew where we were going, and we were like, "We'll just follow Dave."
We'll just follow
knows
Dave. He seems to know where he's going. Yeah,
Chief Canny. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, Dave's driving. Dave knows how to get to point A from point B.
Yeah.
Dave knows where to go in the convention. We'll just follow him around.
Yeah.
Daddy Dave.
Daddy.
Amy, how much? What are you? 2 weeks left now?
Nope, I am 6 days out.
Oh, 6 days out.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Why did I not realize that it was peak week? I'm embarrassed to say
It is
that.
peak week. Yes,
Amy.
it is peak week. Yes.
Amy, I got a question for you. With I know I got my methods with our bikini girls, but what do you do for your peak week? Do you kind of progress like in necessarily peak, or do you hold a look throughout the week once you find that look?
Yeah, so this year we're doing a linear load. Last year we tried to do a little bit of a progressive load, and I ended up just dropping weight and couldn't eat enough to get everything in. I think so this year we've just started higher. I mean, we've been steadily increasing my calories over the last couple of weeks anyway, but just keeping it really steady for the next, so my peak week plan is the same all the way up until Thursday, Friday. And the only difference on Thursday and Friday is I get a little more fat, at least right now. And that can always change. I've been sending check-in pictures, fasted, and then after my pre and post workout meals, an hour later, and then kind of an end of the day. My big issue, and it's something that we kind of have planned for already, and we'll probably adjust on Thursday. My guess is on Friday also, is that I go on last because I am the tallest height category. So I'm always the very last one on stage. And I don't like feeling the feeling of a lot of food in my stomach on show day, especially by the end of the day. So we almost kind of have to overload a little bit the day or two before the show, because I don't really like to eat on show day. So I kind of barely eat on show day. I eat a little bit in the morning, prior to prejudging, have a light snack kind of in between. And then, I mean, sometimes though, I probably won't go on stage until prejudging probably 12 would be my guess, 12 or 1. And then finals probably 7. Wow. So it's a long day, and I don't like feeling heavy. But I have to be able to hold some size. So kind of overloading a little bit as the week goes on, like getting really full, and then just knowing that I'm, going to have to hold that all day the following day with not a lot of food.
Well, you can try my trick for a show day, and that's explosive diarrhea and no food and water. Worked.
Yeah.
Hey, you looked amazing. I mean, can't argue with
That's brutal,
success.
You got to go on last on Bikini, so that means you're probably getting on like super for finals. What are you probably getting on at like midnight, 1 a.m. at that point? Like, holy shit.
No, because it's a local show, so it'll probably be around 7 p.m. I
Okay.
mean, depending the
Still.
show I'm doing. Yeah, they have military, first responder, and teen categories. So I think there's 48 classes that go before me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, at a national show, it would, like Colton said, it'd probably be midnight.
Yeah.
It's gnarly. I appreciate those Bikini girls because they'll stand up there till fucking midnight, and I'm like, I'm out of here. Like, I can't even stay awake for another minute. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I'll-
it makes
I'll
for a
have to-
long day.
I'll have to give it to Gary Udit. The Masters National show I did, man, they were running people through quick. They were really efficient, super efficient. The Masters USAs I did last year, it was the total opposite experience. I didn't get out of there until late, man, and it seemed like we were in lineup for fucking ever. And not to be critical, but it was just, I know some shows go that way. I guess I can be a little critical now. I got my pro card.
No, I mean, yeah, it's.
I
I
have
don't
that
know.
experience in the show.
That show was messy. If the guys that are listening that put the show together, I would talk to Gary because whatever he did was there were way more people and they got everybody moved through way quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your show
I think
moved
it's
really
a
fast.
simple fix.
Finals moved fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's poor planning. It's just, I think it's really poor planning, or maybe it's over planning, and then when the day comes, it's just sort of panic and disorder. The way I could like relate it to is like it took me 10 days to get internet in Canada here, like to get my router, to get everything set up, and I'm like, I can just go pick up the router, and like in Thailand, if I needed to get internet, I would just call somebody. They would either be over that day, or I could go pick up the internet, grab the router, get everything set up in one day. But like, because there's so many like thresholds to doing something that takes so much longer, because someone has to say yes, someone has to sign paperwork, someone has to do, and I feel like people try to overexpand their operation too much, and it just complicates it and bogs it down, and then just like all this cool ideas of organization just kind of goes into the trash can, and you fuck everything up. So what I typically see, at least, it's like they try to organize and it just goes to hell.
Somebody was asking me, did Justin or Kurt handle your food? Justin handled my food. Kurt helped me out a little bit with my PEDs and my peaking protocol, but Justin did all my food. It was my fault.
You guys.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to ask a question about peaking for men. Like, since Dave asked me one about me, what happens with guys who spill so much? I mean, I'm thinking about Mike Israetel, but also recently just watching a couple of these bigger pro shows, like seeing guys that just look great a couple of days before, and then on stage just look like marshmallowy. Like, how does that happen so quickly? Is that it? I mean, it's just the carbs.
I would think.
I think there's so many variables. I think it's a lot of like, it's just an untimely catastrophe of like changing 8 different things at once, trying to get one outcome. And it's like, okay, we're going to put a bunch of carbs in, and then I'm going to actually pull water, and now we're going to pull salts, and then let's add potassium, and then let's take this diuretic. And it's just like way too much going on. And it's often just someone wanting to perform like a magic trick, or sometimes, honestly, what I've seen is like coaches doing this is like sort of a sales tactic to overcomplicate their protocols so that they seem like they're intelligent because they have something that's really complex. Oftentimes, a peak is. I just had a client, Andrew, win a show, and he's going to they're paid for his ticket to the Olympia. He's going to do the amateur Olympia, which is super cool. But that peak was like literally change nothing. Like, he drank same water, same everything, just like walked on stage. I think a lot of times it's just people get too fancy with shit and think it's going to make some magic happen, and it just doesn't.
It goes downhill that fast. I mean, because Paul, I mean, you're the same way. Like, Justin kept things pretty similar for you all week.
Yeah, I just essentially I just essentially ran a couple medium days and then a high day and then basically a medium day the day before my show. We added a little more carbs, but we didn't really do anything drastic. Nothing drastic.
Do you think you would have looked different if you had not had all the digestive issues?
I would have been
Like in
fuller.
a positive or a negative? Fuller. Yeah.
I was flat on the show day. It was definitely flat.
I do think that things have to be done in steps, though. Like Colton said, trying to do everything at once. Whether it's you can't drop your water until you've completely carved up. And you can't basically introduce any diuretic if there's a need for it until that process is over. I see a lot of people try to do everything on the day before the show or the morning of the show, and then you should have a lot of these processes already kind of done. The whole idea of like hammering food backstage, I just don't see how that's ever going to work for anyone. You're not going to continue to carb up that quickly. You should have already had that taken care of. Like Paul's peak protocol makes to me the most sense in, where we kind of carb up like on a Thursday for a Saturday show and then hold the look with fats, and then we can start tapering water off. But nothing's done all at the same time. I see people try to jam everything in Friday before a Saturday show, and it's a guessing game. You're trying to catch lightning in a bottle,
Yeah, and I think there's like we all have seen people talk about or experienced it ourselves, where it's like 2 weeks after the show we feel like we look the best, and it's the real peaking protocol comes 2 weeks before the show even hits, where you can start to eat more. Paul did this where he starts doing high days rapidly in succession. Far out from the show, it's like you just start to basically do the refeed, like the post-show refeed, before the show happens, because you'll look your best, you'll be your fullest, you'll be your hardest if you're in condition. And I think the problem is that a lot of people just don't push hard enough to get clients in condition when they need to be, and so they have to do these radical, drastic things where it's not in sequence, right? It's just like, holy shit, things aren't ready, so blah, like here's everything. Take the B vitamins, take the dandelion root, take the fucking everything, and just blow the shit out of the water.
Yeah, nothing's going to happen if you're not in shape first. Like just like Paul preaches all the time, your first thing to do on prep is retain muscle and get lean first and foremost. So
I was just talking to a guy yesterday who worked with a couple of different coaches, and he was telling me about all these complex protocols he did and how he's never been able to land where he wanted. And I'm like, I just like you were saying earlier, Colton, the more variables you throw at it, the more chance there is for something to get screwed up. I mean, if you look good a week out, I think it was Roman that said it, why change anything?
Exactly. Yeah.
Just write it in.
And the best way to figure this out, and I've talked about it before on this podcast, but it's like, let's say you take pictures post-workout on a Wednesday afternoon, it's like 1 p.m., and you look absolutely perfect. You're like, man, if I could step on stage looking just like this, I know I got a shot. Do exactly what you did that day. Don't change a single fucking thing. Don't take diuretics. Don't restrict water. Don't, like, unless you have to make a weight category, because that's different. But like, you could just reproduce Wednesday and show up on the stage, same amount of water, same amount of food, and that's it. Like, and it just doesn't need to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be science-based, and it doesn't have to be all these things just because someone said they have this wild protocol with Lasix and other diuretics and restricting water and adding potassium and all these other things. It can be just your normal day on a Wednesday happens to be when you look the best. That's what you do on a show day.
Sure. Yeah. You see that with John Jewett a lot. He kind of show on his peak week vlogs, he's just trying to hold the look. Once he finds that time, that look, the amount of water, he's pretty much holding that the whole way through until he steps on stage.
Mm-hmm. That's what I would do. Exactly. It's perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just keep things simple and don't do anything crazy. Where mine went sideways, and I've talked about it before, it was I just had a poor reaction to the diazide. That's what fucked me up at the end. I definitely have isolated that, probably had an electrolyte imbalance. I also had been sick a week out from the show too. I'd had COVID or something. I don't know, the flu, something, man. Everybody around me was sick, so that didn't help things either. But we just, for the most part, just kept things the same. And like I said, Justin handled my food. Kurt helped me with my PEDs. You know, and it was, you know, land at the plane. I feel like I know what I'm doing, but this is another thing. Like, I think I see a lot of guys screw up at the end. They start second guessing what the coach is telling them, and then they end up making things worse. I've seen guys do this. I've had clients do it. I've done it myself, where you start second guessing the coach and doing weird things that end up screwing things up and making it worse. So sometimes I wonder when guys come to me and blame the previous coach, if it really was the previous coach or if it was them messing with things. And I mean, your brain is just, we were talking about it last night at the gym. Your brain is just not working right at the end. And sometimes you just have to, even this year I was second guessing things. So you have to just kind of pull yourself out of it and let somebody else drive for you.
Yeah, you were thinking of backing out.
Yeah, I was seriously thinking about backing out because I didn't feel good and I didn't think I looked my best. I thought I looked the best 2 weeks out. I'm like, I'll just go do North Americans.
Yeah.
So thank God I gutted it out and just did it.
Mm-hmm. I think you need to know your client's mentality too. Like Luke Miller talks a lot about knowing the mental aspect of your client just as well as physically. You know, so sometimes like leading up to a show, you might not realize you're getting one of your clients wound up, you know, too much if you bombard them with too much. Try to keep things simple, keep them calm. Stefan Kinsel talks about how bad cortisol can ruin the morning of a show. You know, if people are just not putting their feet up, not relaxing, not really getting themselves to calm down. It's a very powerful thing what cortisol can do in that moment too. So
yeah,
a lot of reasons why people kind of spill and don't look their best on show day. It's hard to tell until it happens.
Yeah, stress. I'm generally pretty chill on show day. I don't know. I kind of get in this Zen state. I try to focus on what I can control and then leave the rest up to just fate. I'll, you know, it's kind of goofy and whatnot, but I was initially a music major in college, and we had to perform so much on stage. You just get yourself acclimated to being up there performing, where it's just another day at work. And I sort of look at the bodybuilding show as that anyway. And anybody who's been up on the stage knows that it goes by so damn quick. It barely feels like you're up there. That's also why I think it's important to practice your posing a ton. So you're just on autopilot when you get out there. You're running by muscle memory because you are like a deer in the headlights. It happens so quick. If you have to sit there and think about what you're doing with your posing, you're not going to do well.
Yeah.
You're not going to do
well.
well.
They move you through it so fast.
Oh, it's way faster than you think. I was just helping a friend out with posing at the gym, and he was like taking too much time between his transitions. I'm like, dude, you gotta be quick on these transitions. But if you fuck around with like trying to be fancy on the transitions, they're gonna miss you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and my buddy that's a judge was telling me that. He's like, don't put any extra. People try to make their transitions look all fancy and stuff. He's like, just get into the pose as quick as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because judges hate that stuff. He's like, because we're just gonna look at the next guy if you're still doing your whirly turly transition. Just get in and out.
Especially during comparisons, I think people tend to like use a lot of flair still in those. It's like, this is not your individual routine. Like, just do your turns, turn around, stand still.
Yeah, the first person in the pose and the person that's first out of the pose into the next, basically the first person that's in the pose is the one that's usually getting looked at. And so if you like throw all these crazy gestures in, it really fucks things up, I think. And people think they pose a lot faster than they really do. And when you see yourself on stage after, especially like for first time competitors, you're like, oh my God, like I was posing so slow. Like I was like the last in the pose. But if it's quick, it's really quick. And when you get in that pose really quick and lock it in, man, you're going to get looked at way more. That's 3 more seconds that they're looking at you compared to the other guy who's still fucking around getting in his pose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I've gone as far as even been practicing how I look when I walk on to the stage while I walk to the box. I don't want to be slouched over or kind of, dragging my feet. I want to try to look as wide and large as possible. Kind of taking a page out of the Bikini Girls books of, you know, how they actually walk to the center of stage. You know, it does matter for sure.
We get judged on our model walk.
Yeah. No,
How's your hair? How's your hair flip coming along, Dave?
It's going, you know,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy. It's flawless. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, it's probably you got. I mean, like with Bikini or Men's Physique, you got less of a chance to show what you're doing to the judges because there's less. I mean, probably less time on stage, right?
Yeah.
It seems like they move them through even quicker. At least with bodybuilding, you get, you know, I don't. What are there? 10, 11, 12 poses you go through, something like that. With you with counting the quarter turns, so you get more of an opportunity to get compared. It's super quick with the Bikini and Physique competitors.
Yeah. We get judged on 2 poses, front and back.
Yeah.
Hoping Bikini is one from the back.
Yeah.
Oh man, I tore up my back with that OneBlade, and like it's still like I have
I'm
this.
sorry about that. I feel like I
road
feel
rash.
responsible. I recommended it.
Everyone says it's amazing, but it hates me.
What is it?
The one,
The
Philips
Norelco
OneBlade, the
OneBlade?
little- yeah.
Oh, like the extension handle you talking?
It's just the razor, just that.
Just got to
that
get
OneBlade razor.
somebody else to use it on you. That's all.
It's a
Yeah.
really tiny electric. Yeah, it's a really
I mean,
tiny.
I mean, like seriously though, that's like I couldn't do it myself.
No.
But the
That's why I
OneBlade
bring
worked
Colin
well
to
for
shows
me.
with me.
That's right. If you want a
Shave you
professional
down.
look, you gotta have a professional shaving you down. I mean, that's just all there is to it.
Judging from your shoulders last week, I don't think there's much shaving going on.
I told you. It's like an enchanted bramble bush. Every time I cut it down, it grows back stronger. Like there's dark
minute.
magic at work on that shoulder hair. I
An
can't explain it.
enchanted what?
Bramble bush.
Yeah, you need
Enchanted
a
bramble
weed
bush.
whacker
Like
for
from
that one.
Sleeping Beauty. You know.
An enchanted.
Get tangled up in the
bramble bush.
enchanted forest.
I've never heard that one before.
It's like the
Josh
Hydra.
wants to-
You cut a head off and 2 grow back, man. I need this hair technology on my the crown of my head is where I need that hair to grow.
Right. You have to just change the follicles. That's
Josh
what's
is
going on
asking
here.
the question, Amy. He wants to know how much back hair you have.
Well, you don't think you have any, and like you can't see it, but it's there. And trust me, if you do not shave off every single baby hair on your entire body, it will show up with the tan. I felt so bad at my last show. There was a woman who didn't shave her back at all, and I mean, the tan like attaches to the hair and not to your skin, and you look all blurry and weird.
Yeah.
Like it was really bad.
Especially when you have lighter hair, because the blonde and like white hairs show up so easy. It sucks.
Yeah. But then the stubble of the dark hair too pops right out as well.
I'm going to say this, Josh. I doubt it's on the level of Colin.
Yeah.
So
I
it
don't
is
think
not.
anything. That shit's unnatural, man.
Unnatural. Thanks,
It's
Colton.
unnatural. I've never seen anything like it.
Appreciate it. It's my curse. It's my cross to bear.
Yeah.
Dude, my hair grows so
They had to
freaking
nerf you.
fast. I'll shave the day before I get the tan, and it's just not good enough. I have to go through and do it all again, like right before I go get the tan. And even then on show day, it's grown back out some, and there's not much you can do then. I have like my 5 o'clock back shadow.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much that little itty bit of like baby peach fuzz keeps you warm though, because man, even this week, like I started, I shaved my arms a few days ago, and it's been 60 degrees in Denver, so like I have been a level of freezing that doesn't even make sense.
That's right.
Like just
see?
having that anything.
You got to let
There's
it
a
grow
Nord.
out, Amy, for the winter. Winter is coming.
Colin, you know what? I shouldn't make fun of Colin because my level of hairiness is pretty comparable if I let it go.
Yeah, same. That's why Colin always wears the tank and flip flops because he doesn't need a winter jacket. He's always warm.
That's right. If anything, I get too hot.
Yeah.
I never had shoulder or back hair until I took Tren.
Really.
No,
then it started migrating from up top, just traveling south. Like
Oh
a
yeah, I went
retiree.
bald. I went bald on top, and then I got the shoulder and back hair, and I started growing hair out of my ears and my nose.
Yeah. The ear hair is coming in on me for sure these days. I shaved my head the other day, and then I look in the mirror. I'm like, I literally have a bush growing out of my ear. It's
Like,
ridiculous.
thank God, it's like super blonde.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, and I can't see it anymore because I'm fucking blind. My eyes suck now, and I'm like, oh, I look good, and then and then my daughter will be like, hey, Dad, you got like a really long hair coming out of your ear, and I'm like, where? I don't see anything.
Those are the most satisfying to pick out, though. I'm not even gonna lie. This feels fucking
Just
great
yank
to
that
yank out of your
fucker.
ear.
Yank it. It's
It
like
feels
cathartic.
so good. It
pull
feels
it.
so good.
You pull it like makes your eardrum like like reverberate when you pull it out. Like you hear like
Oh,
the
that shit
THX
gets
sound
you
at the
going,
beginning of
man.
the movie.
Yeah. Oh shit, gets me rocks, bro. That's crazy.
So you guys have so much to look forward to as you get older.
My advice: don't take Tren and don't get old.
Yeah. Well, if
It's
you
the
take
same-
Hey guys, I
TH
gotta take off a little early.
All right, Colin.
Okay.
All right, man.
I appreciate everyone. Be
Bye,
safe.
Colton.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
That'd be good.
It's the same thing with my my damn eyebrows now. I have to trim my eyebrows, otherwise they're like what was the one Muppet that reviewed the movies back in the day? They're like sticking out.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
You take the comb and then run over the comb with your method.
I got the trimmer. I just take like my regular back hair trimmers and I put the guard on it, set it for 3, and just. I get a little too aggressive with it sometimes. Like I had somebody commenting on one of my videos, like, Paul, what the fuck happened to your eyebrows?
I let the barber handle that shit.
You see how like translucent mine are?
Yeah.
Even if I messed up and cut them off, you probably wouldn't even know.
It's the same thing with me now. Mine are all gray. They're like my eyebrows that go on gray. My chest hair is getting gray. It's like gray down the middle.
Yeah.
Old man
Call it like
problems.
got a silverback.
Silverback gorilla.
Yes.
The back hair is still nice and dark though. All right, we want to take some questions.
Let's do it.
See, Adam823, do you run your cleanse straight through into the show, or do you taper down or come off?
I listened to my body. I backed off of it a bit this year going into the show just so I could sleep. Give my CNS a break. I'm still tapering down. I taper down over a 3-week period of time. So I think I maxed out at 100 micrograms. I backed it off to 80 going into peak week. And then the week after the show it was 60, then 40, and then I'm at 20 this week, and I'll come off completely. A lot of guys just drop a cold turkey. Don't ask me why I dropped all my gear cold turkey and then didn't continue the Clen, but I figured it would buy me some leeway eating food in Mexico. That was my logic. But I usually taper down the fat burners at the end. I find that to be more productive. I don't know what's been your approach, Dave?
I mean, I try to emphasize a lot of my guys taking Clen and any stimulants out on show day specifically, though, just because that way they get on stage, they're not more prone to sweating, immediately with.
I do the same thing. I meant to mention that too. I don't take any on show day.
But very similar to you, we'll run it right through peak week, and then after the show, we stay on it and taper off slowly instead of pulling all stims, pulling all fat burners immediately. We just slowly back off if we're going to rebound up.
Also, a note for people, I don't run it on high days. Also, just to give CNS a break. And then you're not going to be burning any fat when you're in a high day anyway, so it's kind of pointless taking it.
Yeah, I tried that last week when you suggested it, and I slept like a baby. It just worked perfect.
Yeah, that's been my what I've seen with it is that if you back off just a little bit, it gives your body. Sorry, I'm adjusting my light here. It's a little too bright. Gives your body a break and allows you to get some sleep.
Yeah,
that's just been what I've seen.
Yeah.
Somebody asked earlier too, Amy, if you coach people, if you do lifestyle coaching.
Not right now. I do some nutritional consultations when I have time, just as work permits. I would have considered doing lifestyle coaching. And really, I mean, nutritional therapy is kind of lifestyle coaching, but it's really more focused around uh, generally working with somebody through something that's kind of come up for them to get them back to health. But I definitely, something I would like to be able to incorporate more. I really love working with my nutrition clients, like really, really enjoy it. And I would love to find a way to integrate it with like working with someone who actually does bodybuilding coaching to kind of work on the nutrition side of things with bodybuilders, but have not be the one that's in. I don't feel like I would ever be at the level to be able to get somebody to a show, like to prep them. I just don't know if I have the eye for that or the ability to do that. But I'd love to be able to work with someone who did that, but on the nutrition side. It's like they could handle the contest prep, but I could work with all the digestive and everything else side of things.
Well, I know a couple people that coach bodybuilders that have digestive issues. If that's something you're interested in.
Yes, a lot of them do. And I was interviewed by Scott Mize. The podcast came out last week, and that was one of the things we talked about. He asked me, what some of my advice would be to bodybuilders for digestive issues, and the number one thing would really be don't let it get bad. And I think that's where most people really go off. They wait until it's so bad to start addressing it.
Yeah, I think it's this mentality that you just have to keep pushing and keep pushing. I had one of my guys I was working with was telling me that he was throwing up, and he had been throwing up for a while, and I'm like, dude, that's not cool, man. You gotta let me know that.
Right.
You don't have to. He's like, I'm just pushing through, man, and I'm like, no, that's not something you want to push.
That's not pushing through.
Yeah, so we need to make changes. If you, Steve doing a body hair video would be like me doing a hair growth protocol video.
Hey, Chase.
Yeah, so Chase is funny. Chase had his ice bath machine up. I saw on Instagram the other day. I was like, what the fuck is that thing? So I'm gonna have to go
plunge.
I'm gonna have to go to Chicago and do a cold plunge with Chase so he can film it and embarrass me.
Yeah.
I do not do cold.
That would pay good money to see that.
I can soil his cold plunge tank.
I'll hold the boom mic. Get those squeals.
Chase said he was hyperventilating. Yeah, fuck that shit, man. No, thank you. I don't care how good it is for you. I'm not doing it.
It's funny. I bought Jackie a little sauna and a ice bath. Like one of the ones that look like a drum, like a 55-gallon drum. We haven't set it up yet, but I swear everybody that does it swears by it. Like I haven't had many people that have tried it and been like, oh, it wasn't for me. Maybe I just haven't came into them. But
what do they call it? Shock therapy, I think, something like that. I don't know. It's just one of those, like, people ask me what my recovery protocol is, and I'm like, what's that?
How many McDoubles is your recovery protocol, Paul?
I'm like, dude, I barely fucking do cardio. You think I'm doing a recovery protocol?
Yeah.
One thing I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I was just going to say, sometimes the things that don't sound very appealing, I kind of gravitate to, in the morning. I love my morning fasted cardio. Like for everyone, it's like, that sounds miserable, but for some reason I love it. It's my peace and quiet. I get up and I do, and it starts my day well. So I can see some people kind of having the same mentality with like a cold plunge. They get up, they do the hard thing of the day, first thing in the morning to get that shock therapy, and they just feel good about the rest of their day. And if 10 minutes, 5 minutes in that thing makes you feel better, I'd suggest trying it. Yeah.
Yeah. If it makes you feel better,
If you can spend 10 minutes at a cold plunge, oh my goodness.
Well, what is it, like
10 seconds? No, the most. Yeah.
I do miss the sauna. I really like the sauna. Our gym does not have one. I thought about getting one for my garage. I feel like I don't, just if for nothing else, used to like sitting in it before my workouts just to get me loosened up.
Mm-hmm. To warm up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my infrared sauna, I seriously considered rebuilding, and I had to take it apart recently to like move it around, and I haven't put it back together. And with it being so cold the last couple of days, I was like, I need to put it back together, but I didn't have anybody to help me. And the one piece is really heavy. Like you have to lift up onto the top panel with the heat panels in it. But Like usually on prep, I like live in there. Like I'll just work in there for like an hour. Take my computer until it overheats.
I feel bad for your
Good stuff.
computer.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
Says the woman who's basically killed a computer with tech issues.
Amy's that client who calls me up at 4:59 on a Friday. Hey, my laptop's acting weird. I've only had it in the sauna for 8 hours. I don't know what the problem is, but I've got this deadline and I need it fixed now.
Yeah. What's wrong with it?
Did I tell you about when my phone caught on fire in the sauna one time?
No.
Caught on fire? Did you have one of those Samsungs?
It was like smoking. Oh, it was an iPhone, man. There was smoke coming out of it. I'm like, oh shit.
That's not good.
No.
It like popped the battery. Thank God it didn't like completely explode. I was speaking of that. I saw a video somebody posted. It was some fire department that posted it of a dog chewing up a lithium ion external battery pack at their house and burned the whole fucking house down.
Oh my gosh. Somebody was recording this dog chewing on a lithium ion.
No, they had a
battery?
security
Okay.
camera in their house.
It's gonna be like
Just watching.
The dog would have caught on fire. The dog like jumped back and was like looking at it. They said they had a dog door. It got out in the yard. They said the dog lived.
oh my goodness.
And then burn the house down.
Burned the whole house down.
Okay, so now we take bets on what was the breed of dog. I think I'm gonna say that was a pit bull.
I'm pretty sure it was a pit bull. Yeah, it was a pit bull. Yeah.
I saw a video the other day of somebody's phone though exploding, catching fire while they were in an elevator and they couldn't get out.
That's not good.
Yeah, burnt them pretty good. It's like my nightmare.
Lithium batteries can do that sometimes. I had a good friend of mine had a vape explode in his pocket. And like he lost one of his balls. Burn up his leg. Yeah.
Did he keep
30-degree
vaping
burn.
after that?
Oh yeah, he's still vaping.
For sure. Yeah. Still got one ball. Keep vaping.
Meanwhile, Dave's over here huffing on his.
Yeah. It's my only vice left.
You and me both, Dave.
Yeah.
For a vice to have, it's not bad.
No.
All right, let's grab another one.
Let's see. Marks is getting test and estradiol labs done. Should he hold off on his test injection the day before?
Yeah, I don't know if it's good. Well, I mean, no, I don't think it's gonna make any difference. I wouldn't worry about it. I would usually when I tell people if they're getting blood panels, I would take a couple of days off from the gym. Otherwise, you're going to have some elevation in creatinine, in ALT and AST. Just keep that in mind. Make sure you're well hydrated. A lot of guys think fasting before blood work means not drinking water.
Right. Yeah.
And that's going to screw things up. And actually fast. Like I get guys, I had a guy recently, like his triglycerides were through the roof and like everything else was fine. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And he's like, oh yeah, I went out to IHOP for breakfast before I went and got my blood work done. I'm like, well, that'll do it. That'll throw it off. That's why they say fast. So just keep in mind, if you don't fast, it's usually going to screw up. I think it's the lipid panel, right, Amy?
Yes.
It's going to screw up, and then training can
Well, and
affect
also your glucose and insulin will be all wacky.
Oh,
Could
yeah.
be wacky too, depending on what you eat.
Yeah, and then
Your AST and ALT can be
yeah,
elevated.
training usually it's ALT, AST, and creatinine. Then it'll get a little elevated. I mean, not like dramatic, but you'll see some elevation.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't think taking your shot the day before is going to make any difference. I saw somebody, maybe it was Steve that was talking about it, saying that fasting the day before can screw it up too. Like some people do a whole day fast, that it causes some of the numbers to get wacky. I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't Steve. Somebody was
I've
telling me
actually
that.
done labs while I was doing a 5-day fast. So I did it, I think, on day 3 of a 5-day fast, and my labs were totally normal.
Okay.
So,
All right,
but
yeah,
that's
I could
just
be
me.
dreaming that one.
Yeah. And it could be a marker that I was not testing for. I mean, this was just basic like blood chem and hormone panel, so it wasn't anything crazy.
All right. What do we got next for questions?
See, Martin's is asking test E and EQ. What are some solid doses for hypertrophy?
I mean, that's just individual.
Yeah.
I can't give you a prescribed answer for that. I mean, it's just, I always tell guys, if you're progressing, keep the doses where they're at. If you're not progressing, then there's a formula that I go by with myself, and I'm not suggesting you do this. I usually try pushing food up a little bit first. If body composition goes south, then I push the PEDs up. That's just kind of the back end. And if I'm progressing and everything's moving along great, I don't change either.
Yeah.
You get a good coach, so you can ask them questions like these, and they can make adjustments on the fly.
Yeah.
Because there's no one size fits all shit for this, you know.
Yeah.
I will say this: in an off season, generally your test is going to be run higher than your EQ. You run EQ too high, you're gonna crush your estrogen. You know, that's sort of a general rule of thumb. Some things to keep an eye on with EQ. A lot of people get really high
Red blood cell.
RBC, hemoglobin, and hematocrit from EQ. Some people don't. I don't get a lot of hematocrit and hemoglobin elevation. I know a lot of guys do, but the one thing that does seem to do it to me is EQ.
Mm-hmm. I think solid dose, you know, is your highest dose that's most manageable with no side effects. I mean, so that's going to be different from person to person. I mean, if you don't know what your threshold is for, let's say, testosterone to start, I mean, start there. Find out what's the maximum amount of tests I can use without side effects. And if you do get side effects, back off to a more manageable Goldilocks zone that works for you.
I would say this generally in an off season, I'll see EQ run somewhere between 60 and 70% of your testosterone dose.
Yeah.
Kurt and I actually did a really good video earlier this week about testosterone dosing in relation to your secondary compounds. So that's just something to be mindful of.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I think last year I was running about a gram a test, and 600 EQ was quite perfect for me. I think that was about it. We were running for a while.
That's a good one.
Neuroticism. Have any of you ever taken too much magnesium and shit yourself in your sleep? I just did. P.S. Love all the content.
Is that a statement or a question?
I think that's one of Paul's peaking strategies right there.
Yeah, magnesium. Well, there's a reason why they use it for a laxative.
Definitely cause some urgency.
Milk of magnesia.
I haven't taken too much magnesium and accidentally shit myself in my sleep, but I did. I have on more than one occasion fallen asleep with chocolate and woken up thinking that I shit myself.
I have dared a dangerous fart or two here and there and regretted it later.
Oh, we've all gambled and lost, but it hasn't been magnesium. That was the culprit there.
I would say my lifetime record is like 10,998 versus 2, but there's been a couple losses.
I blame whiskey for my losses.
Like, oops, no, that was not the correct decision.
Control Z. Oh no.
Oh, Amy, can you put up with this stuff?
Gladly.
I like that our audience will pay actual money in order to make a poop joke. That makes me so proud.
That is a proud moment, right? We have cultivated a fine community.
Clearly.
Just if that question is somewhat serious, though, what I would suggest, what I have a lot of my clients do for like magnesium glycinate is we'll just start with maybe 500 milligram dose and start seeing if that helps with sleep, helps with bowel movements in the morning, depending if that's why we're taking it for one of those two issues. And if you're not getting the results we'll just taper it up after a few days and keep going until we find a manageable dose that works. So start pulling your magnesium back first.
Marty said he hired me for a year to make poop jokes. Money well spent, Marty. All right, next question.
Josh M wants to know if we have any recommendations on nice clothing brands for bodybuilders. He wears a lot of oversized 4XL gasp shirts, and slim fit normal brands fit weird.
Nike actually has some stuff. I get a lot of stuff at Nike if you go in that fit bigger guys. Under Armour does too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for name brand stuff.
I'll tell you what I'd like to wear is some anabolic bodybuilding branded clothing. I tell you what.
Dave's got a garage full of it.
I get my hands on some of that, or
I don't have many I used to work for Gasp and Better Bodies with Jackie for years, so my knowledge is with them. But there's a lot of options with Gasp for sure if you like the oversized stuff.
Oh god damn it! I just bought a suit. It's from Buffery. If you want to check them out, they have clothing made, like nice clothing. Like if you need like nice going out to dinner, fancy clothing. Buffery has really great stuff. And I know that the guys that run it listen to our stuff, but give them a little bit of a shout out. They have some really great stuff that you can get that are specifically tailored for bodybuilding. Like bodybuilders, I can never find suits that fit. Yeah. And they have these really cool tapered suits where they have they measured me. I bought it at Masters Nationals. I bought a suit, like I think my chest was a 56 and my waist is a 32.
You're never going to find that on a shelf.
No, there's nothing at Men's Warehouse that works for that.
No.
Right, you have 32-inch thighs and a 32-inch waist. There's nothing that you can find.
Yeah, the Men's Warehouse guarantee does not apply to bodybuilders.
But Buffery, they do have, and their suits are stretchy too. It's almost like
you said it's
material.
Buffery?
Buffery, Buffery.
Okay.
Another one I wear sometimes, Jackie got me into, is Tattooed and Successful is the name of the clothing company. They have a lot of, they're really good. They have a lot of kind of clean cut stuff. It's not like very wild, distressed look stuff.
People may be shocked to hear this, but I'll tell you where the majority of my wardrobe comes from. It's Kirkland. Because I am that kind of guy.
Yeah.
There's a Shane, I think about it every time I go to Costco. Shane Wang that has a comedy special on Netflix, and he talks about being wary of a man who wears Kirkland pants, because that is a person who gives no fucks. You don't give a crap what life thinks.
That's right.
You're at that point.
Going to be Paul's next sponsor, the next podcast, Kirkland Signature.
Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to click that on. Yeah, someone who wears Kirkland clothes exclusively is like the character Michael Douglas was playing in that movie Falling Down. You remember that flick from back in the day? No more fucks given. Sorry, that's an old reference.
That is such a classic movie.
It's a good movie. It holds up. I recommend it. It's all of the motifs and thematic material very pertinent today. Let me just say that.
These Buffery suits, they're really let's see, they're tapered backs. Let me show you a picture.
Is that the brand the guy told us about at the Arnold?
Yes, that is him.
Is that?
I plunked down and got one. Yeah, they have some really sharp stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Paul in a suit.
Yeah, you can see how they're tapered.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna at the Arnold. I'll wear it. They have ones like that are stretchy on your thighs. They're almost like athletic pants.
Mm.
It's kind of a cool thing. I'm not at the Arnold, but when we go to the Olympia, maybe I'll snazz up for dinner instead of wearing jeans and a Costco shirt.
You're gonna suit up.
Suit up. Gotta look like I belong in Vegas, right?
I'm buying a new pair of Birkenstocks.
Gotta have a fresh pair.
Fresh pair.
Good enough for Jesus. Good enough for Colin.
I've worn a hole through them again. I need to buy another pair.
The Roman Legion, they marched from Rome to to London in
That's
nothing
right.
but sandals.
That's right. It's
All right,
good
what do we
enough
got
for the
next?
Roman legions. Good enough for me. Let's see. Daryl Ogolina, what are your thoughts on vodka or red wine to dry out the day before and the day of a show?
I'll do. This is one thing Kurt suggested, and I did a little bit before the night before the shows. I think it was AJ's trick. I think it was four, if I remember right, 4 ounces of vodka, or no, it was 2 ounces of vodka, 2 ounces of coffee, and 4 ounces of water. I think is what it was.
On show day
and
or
then-
the day before?
Both, and then that definitely made me vascular. Drive me out. It may have contributed to the diarrhea too. I don't know.
I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny, but it kind of is.
It is funny.
If Paul doesn't have diarrhea before his next show, I don't think he's going to do too well. It's going to just turn into
Now there's going to be some dumb bro that's going to try to deliberately give himself diarrhea before a show.
just a ton of magnesium. Yeah.
Whole bottle of what is that? Miralax?
Yeah.
Do like
Yeah.
the Colin protocol? Mm-hmm.
Ducalax and all that. Yeah.
All right, what do we got next here?
Steve Williams, are the risks around HGH exaggerated, specifically the cancer risks?
Yeah, HGH does. There is no study correlating HGH with cancer. It is not a carcinogen. There's nothing. Now, if you already have an existing cancer or tumor growing somewhere, it could potentially cause an increase in the speed at which that is growing. But you can look. I mean, I wish Kurt was on here. There is 0 studies that show that there's any relationship. Let me just say this: GH is not a carcinogen.
Right. So
not.
it doesn't cause cancer.
Does not cause cancer.
Right. But it can accelerate it's
Can
theorized it can accelerate like cancer
any,
cells.
any growth factor can. I mean, if your insulin could, eating carbohydrates can.
Sure.
You know, I'm sure any growth factor. I mean, literally everything we do to grow could potentiate the growth of a existing cancer cell, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So I mean, that is a risk that you take when you're bodybuilding. I mean, living is contributing to cancer. So, but probably the biggest thing I would say would be just being obese, inflamed.
Yeah.
Inflammation is probably a big risk factor. Being insulin resistant and having elevated insulin levels and blood sugar levels all the time when you're inflamed, being in a state of metabolic disorder is probably the biggest risk. If you're lean, and some of it's just genetic. I've had cancer, and I wasn't on anything when I got cancer. In fact, I was off gear for like 8-9 years when I had cancer. Probably stupid running stuff after I've had cancer, but YOLO.
YOLO.
All right, and I'm, this is not medical advice. I just want to clarify that. So if you've had cancer before, you probably want to be cautious. But as far as I know, and you can do a search on PubMed, I don't know of any study that shows that HGH is carcinogenic. Now, like I said, if you already have cancer, then it could accelerate the growth of an existing tumor. So just something to be mindful of. All right. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, we got a bunch today.
Yeah, let's keep trucking.
All right, we're going through them in order, unless somebody wants to throw more money at us to ask a poop question. Tomas Ordonez Sainez, Paul, congrats. Did you run an ECA stack right until the show, and did you cycle on and off?
Yeah, I ran an ECA stack. I did drop it, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks out from the show. I just got to a point where I didn't feel like I needed to lose any more weight. I also, more so than the clenbuterol, the ECA definitely affects my sleep. Ephedrine and caffeine seem to make my sleep worse. So I dropped the ECA stack about 2 weeks out from my show, somewhere around there. I figured it was probably more important to get sleep, be rested, and be fresh for the show at that point. My sleep on this prep overall was pretty decent. I had a couple nights where my sleep got crappy. And it was when I tried to use Tren. There was a couple times where I was running the ECA dose twice per day. I could not sleep after that, so I just backed off the ECA dose, and I ran it in the morning, just one dose per day, and then I pulled it out completely towards the end. All right, what do we got next here?
Barn asking, how do you start people on a diet for cutting that haven't been on any diet? He generally knows what to do, but he wants to know if we have any tips or meal prep ideas that have worked for yourselves or others.
If you're coming straight from not having had any sort of structured diet whatsoever, I mean, you can probably speak to this, but mainly I just try to clean the trash up. Just get the trash out of the diet, get people eating a sensible diet, getting them, you know, if you're open to it, it's nice to be able to weigh and measure things. If you start weighing and measuring things, it opens your eyes up to what you're actually eating. And a lot of times people eat way more than what they think. I don't remember the studies specifically, but there was one I saw where they did an actual comparison of what people estimated they ate versus what they really ate, and I think people overestimated by something like 60 to 70%. It was huge. It was a huge number. They overestimated and they underestimated the amount of exercise that they were doing. So measuring things,
I think you mean that in reverse. They overestimated the amount of exercise, and they underestimated the amount they were eating.
Yeah, in reverse. Sorry, brain fart there. Yes, you're correct. But yeah, I mean that's what I've seen. What do you do, Amy? What do you see?
So I really encourage people who are starting out, like, to kind of get a better handle, to write it down and just kind of make more meal planning something that they do, and also preparing in advance for when life becomes unexpected. More than anything, what I encourage people to have is a backup plan. So like when you get home late and you are out of your meal prep food, like what do you have in the freezer? Do you have cut up sweet potato that you can just steam really quickly? Pre-measured out cooked chicken or shrimp, like something that you can cook really fast? Because I think that's where people end up falling off. Like they're like, they don't have any of their meal prepped food left, and they're like, well, then I'll just order a pizza. So always having something. So when you meal prep, just meal prep extra, freeze it. And then you've always got like backup food and eating things you like. And I think that's the big mistake people make, is they think when they go on a diet, they have to eat food that they hate. You know, so finding things that you really enjoy. And when you're on prep, you'll enjoy anything at all. Just eating a lot of that.
Well, I think that's why some people do really well with things like carnivore and keto, because it's simple. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're removing, I mean, just by the very fact of going to carnivore or keto, you can't eat ice cream, you can't eat, you can't eat potato chips, you can't eat French fries, donuts, all the trash food that most people usually eat. It takes a little more discipline to eat a diet with carbs, and some people, sometimes it's just easier just to completely eliminate that. I'm not a fan of zero carbs, but I find that it works well for some people if it's something you can follow. That's another option.
I try to work with people's habits already, their eating habits. Like some people might be doing their first diet and they're one meal a day kind of person, or they'll snack throughout the day and then they have one giant meal at the end of the night. So if there's some sort of structure that they already have, they're used to, that I can work off of, I'll start there. Maybe they eat 3 meals a day, and that's great. That's a good start. So I can work with that. But building habits is just as important as, that's kind of my first step, is building a routine, building a habit with somebody, getting them into the groove, like Amy says, and also staying prepared ahead of time. Then you can get into the more details, what food selections digest the best, getting to learn the client that way. So I'd suggest to them, if you have something good to work off of, like you're already eating 3 meals a day, 4 meals a day, then start figuring out your calories, figure out your macros, and work with those habits you already have. If that makes sense?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times, like just lifestyle people, I'll have them download Chronometer or my Fitness Pal or something, and just have them track their food for a week, and then I'll just go through and I'll say, just basically do the eat this, don't eat that thing with them, and then I'll explain to them why they shouldn't eat certain things. If I can get people weighing and measuring food, that's ultimately going to yield the best results. But sometimes just for somebody who's not in shape and not been following any sort of structured diet, just cleaning up your habits is enough alone to get some cheap weight loss.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
Joshua Perry, build me a diet based around Jimmy John's giant subs.
I'm sure I could.
Yeah.
Put the cheese on it, skip the mayo.
It's going to result in a stage ready body, right?
You could probably lose weight on it if you did it right. I'm not saying it's ideal, but if calorie deficit's a calorie deficit at the end of the day.
Joshua, you could be the new spokesperson for Jimmy John subs if you lose a bunch of weight eating nothing but Jimmy John subs. That you could be their spokesperson. That worked out really well for Subway.
What was the story? I think it was Hathor. Then he hired.
Was it
Stan
Efforting? Efforting, that's right.
Yeah, it was Stan Efforting. I think worked with him, but Stan said that he was eating mostly just Subway before he started working with him. And he was the world's strongest man eating Subway.
Crazy.
Some people are just blessed.
Yeah. It's like Jackie. She could just eat ice cream for the rest of the week.
Dude, I work with some professional athletes. I have some NFL guys I help out with their nutrition. The way those guys eat.
Like children.
Yeah, they literally live off of
candy,
McDonald's and fast food, man. I'm like that just goes to show you if you have elite genetics that it might not matter. Like, what was the story? Ronnie Coleman would use an entire bottle of Casey Masterpiece every day.
It's just you when you're driving the Doc Brown's DeLorean, you can put trash in it. You know what I'm saying? It's still gonna go back to the future.
All right. Let's take some bets. How many calories do you think is in a bottle of Casey Masterpiece? Let's see.
A bottle of Casey Masterpiece. I'm gonna say
3,000.
I'm going with 1,000, 1,200.
It's got to be like 150 a serving. It's probably what 20, 30 servings.
Yeah,
maybe not that much.
Maybe like 50, 60 calories a serving. I don't know. I mean, it's straight sugar. It's straight high fructose corn syrup.
I think it's like 110 for like a 28 grams or 30 milliliter serving or something like that.
So 18 grams is 30 calories. Let me find the nutrition label.
The entire audience is on the edge of their seats right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet it's got to be over 1,000 calories in a bottle of Casey Masterpiece.
Paul's doing the math, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you come here to see.
There's 127 servings in a bottle of Casey Masterpiece, and they're 30 calories each. So that can't be right, is it? That's 3,600
You're talking
calories.
about more than 3,000 calories in a bottle of Casey Masterpiece? Oh, you're right, Dave. Holy fuck.
No, that can't be right.
That can't be right.
Well, I mean, there's all different sizes of bottles.
That can't be right.
Paul, make a video next time you go to the store.
Like a 60-ounce bottle.
All right, this is Walmart. This is a Casey Masterpiece. This is 6-ounce bottle. There's 50 servings in a 6-ounce bottle, and 60 calories. So, yeah, I mean that's 2,400 calories, right?
Wow,
that's wild.
Yeah,
it's just straight carbs, pretty much.
That is crazy. Yeah, there's 60. There's 720. Yes, 720 grams of carbs in a bottle of Casey Masterpiece in a 6-ounce bottle. That's not even the big bottle.
That's insane.
That's insane. So,
only Ronnie Coleman could eat that and have it work for him, you know.
Reno said he heard some GU slander the other day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, G Hughes tastes a lot better when you're on contest prep than it
Dave,
does when you're not.
don't you swear by the chili, Thai chili or whatever?
Thai chili. Yeah, we just did a Walmart run and we filmed for YouTube last night, and I was just giving crap to Paul. Like, I don't know how you don't like G Hughes. I mean, look at all of these. The sauces, there's a million kinds. I love them, but
I like it on contest prep, dude. And then when I'm in my off season, that shit sits there until the next contest prep.
No, I've had some of those sugar-free sauces that have legitimately made me angry how bad they are.
Some are
I'm angry
so
that
gross.
I drove to the store, picked you up off the shelf, like I compared you to other bottles. I'm like, nope, this is the one. Paid $10 for you, brought you home, and this is what you're doing on my chicken.
Yeah,
It isn't G Hughes, isn't it sugar alcohol on top of it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, so gross. Ugh.
Yeah, that's sugar.
No offense.
Talk about recipes for blowing your asshole out.
If you haven't tried the Thai chili, though, you won't be disappointed. It's phenomenal.
I haven't,
Very
in fairness, tried it, and I will,
It's like a sweet and sour.
Dave, I'm not trusting your judgment on what tastes good, man. You're what 8 weeks out now?
Yeah, that's true. And I am kind of like robotic. I'll just eat whatever. I don't care.
Your opinion is rendered moot.
I got,
Sorry.
since my fats got bumped up a little bit, I can have a little bit of almond butter or peanut butter, and I put 6 grams of peanut butter on a rice cake the other night, and I almost texted my coach, like, I just ate the best food I've ever had in my entire life. Like, no, you didn't. Like, no, you did not.
I'm trying to imagine how you spread 6 grams of almond butter across the rice cake. That's got to be like the thinnest layer of almond butter in history.
It is.
Yep. Well, I did it right down the middle. So I had just plain rice cake on either side of it, and saved the middle part with the almond butter for last.
That's what I do. I eat the rice cake
So
around
good.
the peanut butter, and then I eat the peanut butter section first. But when I get 7 grams of added fats to some of my meals, Paul, that's 14 grams of peanut butter. And I'll just do a couple rice cakes once in a while. And it's not much. It's not much.
I'm
But
just
it's
imagining
so
6
good.
grams, Amy. That's a sad life.
You got to try the
Not
churro
much.
butter. You got to try the churro butter. Jackie and I discovered it's pecan peanut butter, pecan nut butter. So good.
Yeah,
It's
that
called
looks
Iowa.
insane. I can't. I'm not kidding. Like, I cannot be trusted with nut butter. Like, nope. Make all the
Well,
jokes you want.
It's a Todd Lee-ism. You can't trust women with nut butter.
Yeah.
He is correct. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like it. I mean, like, if I had a jar.
Well, it's a biological
of the-
imperative, Amy.
Well, there's an asterisk
Right?
next to that with Colin. You can't
Eat the
trust
nuts.
Colin with nut butter either.
Yeah.
It's true.
But didn't Chase for
butter
a
and
while say that he
pretzels.
would program
Oh my God.
an entire jar of cashew butter into his diet, like so he could just eat the whole jar?
Who
And he
said
would just
that?
plan it in. Like, that
Chase.
is Chase. And, yeah, like long time ago, one of his one of his diet videos, he would program in an entire jar of cashew butter, almond butter. Oh yeah, life goals right there.
All right, let's get one more question in, and then we'll wrap it up. Make it a good one.
Hang on, I'm being
Director.
funny.
You're being funny. Oh, you're going in the comments section.
Okay. All right.
It's
All
worth
right, let's
worth
see,
looking
last
up.
one.
We'll put the audience on hold while you're being funny, Colin.
It's just like at the gym. Paul's like, Colin, come on, man. It's your set. And I'm like, hang on. I got to send 4 people this meme. All right. Let's see. We'll have fun with the last question. Is Amy married?
Oh man, we got some. No ring.
Our audience is they're big fans of you, Amy.
Amy is
There are
not
a lot of
married.
There are a
you
lot
go.
of thirsty men out in our audience.
There you
Amy.
go, boys. Not married.
I
Shoot your
finally
shot. Go to Colorado and bring a couple jars of nut butter with you. You know, you never know. Might work.
Don't
Put a jar of nut butter underneath like a big box and set a stick underneath it. You know, just wait for Amy to
How
come
to catch
by.
a bikini competitor.
Yeah.
And
Like lead
don't
a trail
drive.
of
She's
nut
not
butter.
even trying to escape. She's just eating it.
I'm probably outing Amy here, but don't drive a Mini Cooper either.
That's right.
Oh.
Cannot drive a Mini Cooper. That is one of my non-negotiables.
What's wrong with Mini Coopers, Amy?
Well,
What do you
just have
mean?
never
Never
met a man who
is it the
drives
car,
one
or
who-
is it a metaphor?
No, it's the guys that drive them just give me the ick.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I gotta ask though, like, how about the dudes who are driving like the Ford Raptors and F-350s who have never put anything in the bed of their truck ever? Is that like a similar?
I'm not
type
okay
of
with
ick?
that either.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I grew up in the
I
mountains.
feel like that's the
and
same
one-
dude,
Yeah,
just a different
it is.
car.
Exactly. They have a different budget. I mean, the two vehicles I
A
learned
different
to drive on were both stick shift. One of them was a Volkswagen Vanagon that was a 4-speed without power steering, and the other one was a plow truck, like with a legit plow on it.
Oh my god!
So my standards for like the type of vehicle that I expect a man to drive are higher, but I also expect them to drive it in a way that I feel like is appropriate. Like if you have a car that should be driven off road and you have never actually taken it off the road, or it has never
Right.
gotten dirty,
yeah,
or you drive a Mini Cooper. Mm-mm. No Mini Coopers.
Well, I drive a Tesla, which seems to universally repulse women.
Hey,
No,
my
the
F-350
Tesla's
gets
not a
plenty
deal
of work.
breaker.
I've
See,
been driving.
that's right. Dave has a truck, and he knows what to do with it.
Yeah,
Dave's allowed to drive a truck, and I'm not. I sit on my ass in an office all day long.
Dave's, he's going around town hauling loads, and he
Bada
drives that
bing.
and he also drives the truck. That you bought a Bing too soon.
Although the redneck in me, I grew up in the country, and my parents live out in the middle of nowhere on 100 acres, and the redneck in me still likes a good pickup truck and a muscle car.
Nothing
I
wrong
see
with
that, and it's like it raises some sort of primal thing in me. I'll be like, ooh.
Yeah, muscle cars
One summer
and pickup
I drove
trucks.
a dump
And
truck.
did you?
Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about surprising a construction site? I put in a dump truck full of rocks, and I'm the one that jumps out. And then I have to climb up the back of it to we're talking like old school dump truck. I had to actually climb into the back of the truck or climb up the back of the truck to like pull the rock cover off. And then, yeah, nothing like me jumping out of a truck, be like, hey guys, where do you want me to dump this? Yeah. It'd just be like silence.
I am trying to imagine Amy driving a dump truck. Joshua Perry has phantom pains where his mullet used to grow. I am embarrassed to admit that I did have a mullet. I had the Metallica mullet. I guess it was technically not a mullet. The slight perm.
Yeah.
with the
Metallica was not a mullet.
Curly mullet.
The Metallica. I had Metallica hair in high school.
Paul, you
Good
come
luck.
down to Massachusetts, you can drive my truck or Mustang anytime.
I'll take the Mustang.
There you go. There you go. We'll stuff you in the 10-wheeler and watch you get nervous for a little bit.
My dad actually had a dump truck growing up, so I've driven dump trucks before.
Yeah.
That's what a redneck my dad is. He had a dump truck.
That's pretty cool. You guys have both driven
Hey, you
dump
gotta-
trucks.
Haul a lot of rock.
I've only ever been behind one. Maybe one
Colin
day.
is Colin is the most non-handy man I've ever met in my life. He literally did not drive his car for 3 months because he had a dead battery, and I'm like, dude,
true.
you know, there's jumper cables for that shit.
It's true.
Just go buy a new battery, man. I'm like, do you want
AAA
me
will
to come-
bring you a new battery.
Do you want me to come over and help you with this?
I needed you to. I had to call an adult to help me put that battery in.
Batteries are heavy. I don't know if I could get the battery out of my car.
I don't think it was a weight issue, Amy.
No.
Do you remember the scene from 2001: A Space Odyssey at the beginning with all the apes and the obelisk? That's like the level of troubleshooting I was applying to try to replace my battery and install the new one. It's just like fog hit battery with wrench. Why no work?
I told Colin he had a 50-50 chance of getting the cables on right.
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
think you
There
still
you go.
screwed it up.
And lightning still shot. So
Gotta
look, I'm doing my best, man. I'm good at other stuff.
You are funny.
He'll be in a Mini Cooper before you know it.
All right, folks.
Yeah, I'll let you go.
I think on that note, that's a good place to end this one.
Yeah.
Colin is not handy. Amy hates Mini Coopers.